Yesterday is still here. It's still vibrant, still feels good, enjoying it. Loving the fact that Florida State gets the win yesterday in baseball on the same day that we were talking about spring football. And then later that night, Tom, I got to go home and watch Virginia lose. Isn't that wonderful? What a good night. By the way, screw Virginia eternally for setting basketball back forevermore. How pissed must they be at a guy who won a national championship? Now they're the laughingstock. First of all, they didn't deserve to be in the tournament by any objective measure. And then they scored 42 points. Get the hell up out of here. It's pathetic. I got a stat on that, by the way, involving him and his father, no matter how well-dressed Tony may be. How are you, Tommy?
I'm good. I was ready. I was quick on the trigger to answer that. I was surprised that you weren't mourning a little bit for how good UVA's head basketball coach looks, because the blinding beauty of the JPJ, the blinding beauty of that coach, you've always remarked that you were a fan. But
I was a fan of how sharply dressed he was, not style of basketball. God, I hate watching Virginia. Now the country hates watching Virginia, and luckily none of us will have to watch them again this year as they got blown the hell out.
So here's the thing. Here's the amount of time that I watched Virginia last night. It equals the amount of losses that FSU baseball has. Zero. No, thank you. Now, when we get to tomorrow, and by the time we sign on tomorrow, and there's a little bit of energy going with that noon window, all right, I'm going to start to feel it. The first four is a heavy lift. Unless you're in a gambling setting, unless you've gone to Vegas, unless you've taken vacation.
Or you bet on the games yourself with a bookie or the app.
Still, like, that feels like an effort. I'm going to go find some hockey right now. I would find the NBA before I would find the first four. No, thank you, sir. I'll watch spring training before I'll watch the first four.
I don't have a problem with what you're saying. The first four doesn't feel like the tournament, but I gambled on all the games, so I'm going to watch all. You don't have to just be isolated to one. You know, you got multiple TVs, you got the iPads, you got the laptops. You're all good. You can watch everything you want to watch. You can watch the best NBA game of the night. You can watch your Mets on spring training if you wanted to, just as I watch Anil Cruz just hit home run after home run after home run in spring training, all hit at about 125 miles per hour. I do that, and then I watch a little bit of basketball on the side. I start thinking about my bets for the golf. I do it all, buddy. This is what you do. Last night I was in a good mood because we were at practice, and I had fun talking with you after practice, our post spring football report, and I still got home in time after a beautiful evening out there on the practice fields. And then Dick Hauser, after Florida State found a way to win it 1-0. They've won every which way there is to win now. Tell you what, we talk a lot about how it's important that you run the bases well. It's important that you have good at-bats. It's important that you understand the game. It's important that you pick up the baseball and do all those things. Well, it's really important in one-run games, and that's especially true if it's a 1-0 game and there's a grand total of, 7 hits. So you better, for the combined, you better do all the little things very well. You better find a way to make it happen. So, they've won games this year where they've scored 19 runs. They've won games this year now where they've scored 1 run. So it's interesting. Some will be nervous as they head to Clemson now because they've had back-to-back-to-back games where the offense has not been lighting up the scoreboard.
I mean, that's going to happen from time to time. It is the sport of baseball. The thing I was impressed with the most is, we were doing football coverage, so I had to go back and review what the hell happened, other than what you were giving me live on the air, which was great. That was, if you want to go back to the live videos after the show's over, just watch the last 10 minutes of Jeff walking over to Hauser from outside of Doak Campbell Stadium to give updates as to what's happening on the fly.
It was fun.
It's pretty good television. But 7 pitchers last night, and after the second inning, only 2 walks issued by Florida State pitching. That is incredibly impressive to me. 1 hit and 2 walks after the second inning last night to Stetson. So it's not only a game that there's 7 combined hits or, it's a low total, it's a pitcher's duel. We didn't hurt ourselves. And it's 7 different pitchers. The odds say that somebody is going to be awful on a given night. I mean, that's just the nature of the sport. But not last night. A lot of young arms came out through for Florida State. This wasn't one where they went for the gusto of having a guy who should be a Sunday starter pitching 6 or 7 innings. They had a plan last night from the pitching staff's perspective, from Coach Posey's perspective. They've got to be thrilled with what they saw.
Well, I'm going to tell you that one of the things that I like is that I was talking about this with Aslan yesterday at football practice, and this is how abuzz we all are about baseball. We were talking about, I kind of like Link's style here, man. He's not afraid. You're gonna roll a freshman out there, and then you're gonna pitch a bunch of other guys that haven't had much time. A lot of freshmen getting work. He's not playing to keep the streak alive. Like, in a weird way, fundamentally, you are playing to keep the streak alive because you play every game to win the game. But there are actions you can take and coaching decisions that you can make that better secure the opportunity for that win than the ones that he took last night. So to me, again, I feel like this is a guy who has a plan. He's going to stick to it as best he can, but he's also not so hell-bent on this one way of doing things that he can't alter it midstream. And we've watched that. Like, it's funny. He'll put a guy in a position to prove that he can take another step. So when they work guys late, Tom, you and I have watched this all year long with their starters. We're so accustomed to coaches who, the second a starter runs into some trouble, has a tough inning, if it's anything beyond the fifth, they're getting pulled. It's like it's a world of bullpens in baseball anymore, right? He's not that way. If it's 4-1 Florida State and the one just came in the fifth after 2 walks and a base hit and another hard hit ball, but the starter got out of it and he's at 89 pitches, he'll roll him back out there. And that's proven to be not only smart, it's worked out in their favor. Guys have shown that they were mentally and physically tough and gone back out and had a good inning after something like that. But also the reverse is true. If I roll a young guy out there and I know he's got good stuff and I want to trust him, okay, let's see what happens. And then he goes out and he throws 4 straight balls, and then the next guy hits a single, and then he throws 2 balls to the next batter. Dude, somebody's up. He's coming out. We're done here. I'm not going to sit here all day and let you figure it out. This has been a really nice balance, and I like the command of the team that he has.
I also like today his midweek press conference. I know those things get buried, especially with all the football content we have. You had pro day interviews because there's dozens, and it's almost true. There's at least a dozen Florida State players are going to be on campus for pro day. But there's so much content that you might not see Link Jarrett's press conference previewing the Clemson road trip.
Which is a great series.
It is a great series. I mean, depending upon if you're looking at Boyd's World, the official RPI, the ISR on Boyd's World versus RPI, and you're talking about a top 5 matchup here, a top 5 matchup between Clemson and Florida State. Link was kind of ornery. He was kind of ornery today, and I like it. He's always on to the next, and he's done that a couple of times this year. He says, I haven't even looked at it yet, which I don't buy that. I'm sure you have advanced scouted Link Jarrett. You're a very detail-oriented guy. But he knows that this is yet another test. Going out to Gainesville on a Tuesday and winning is not hard to do anymore. Everybody beats Florida on weekdays. Every single team in the country outside of Bethune-Cookman beats Florida on a weekday. But playing 3 nights in a row in this setting at Clemson, which has been consistently regarded as one of the most hostile places that we play any year, that is a different animal, especially with a group that has a little bit of a chip on its shoulder. You could see that the emotions turning negative if it isn't going the right way. Like this is a big series to prove that they can take yet another step. And if they're competitive for all 3 games and they take 1 out of 3, that's all right. If they take 2 out of 3 in this setting, though, I mean, you're talking about a team that now is legitimately probably a top 5 team overnight, which is wild.
The pseudo RPIs, by the way, which is what you can reference on Boyd's World, and they aren't the exact RPIs. There's lots of reasons that you can't really even know the exact RPIs right now, but they do adjust it and all of that. Florida State's the number 1 team in the country, according to the pseudo RPIs. Clemson's the number 2 team in the country, according to that same metric. So this is, in theory, by one way of looking at it, number 1 versus number 2. And it does, again, I don't care. We like rankings next to teams' names because it gives us a gauge of the caliber of teams. We might not believe that somebody's number 1 or number 9 or number 13, but we know that if it's anywhere near the ballpark of being accurate, what you have are 2 very competitive, highly thought of, having played good baseball teams meeting up, right? I mean, it's like you can't get to that place by accident. If you're 19-0, you're 19-0 for a reason. You're really good. That's what you are. What you want to quibble about whether that's the best team in the country or the 7th best team in the country, have at it. We know they're really good. And maybe Clemson's not the number 2 or the number 1. Maybe they're the 10th or the 12th. Either way, it's a hell of a series in conference. We know that. And it's going to say, at least for now, at this juncture of the season, something about these two teams. It probably reveals another aspect. It could be really good, could be something bad, could be a blight, could be something that needs to be improved on. This is where you get tested, when you have like teams who are as deep and as athletic as the other, right? That's kind of what you want to see.
Well, and to your point, you guys are talking about it at practice yesterday, football practice. Football has begun, and everybody's fired up about that. And we know that that's the bread and the butter. But last night during the live chat where you're standing outside a Hauser, and we're going through players, sides of the football, newcomers, who impressed you, who stood out, who's hit the weight room, who looks good in the helmet. And the chat's going crazy with baseball updates. People are talking about, oh, runner on second, 1 out, still no score. I mean, people are invested in Florida State baseball. I think they missed it. I think that's the simple way of putting it.
Mm-hmm.
We were so spoiled, and the conversation was so stale. It was, well, yeah, so what? They're going to win 40 games. Can they win it all? Like, unfortunately, when you achieve everything but the pinnacle of the sport, it's almost like these months of the season don't matter anymore. And I felt that way when we were talking about FSU baseball years ago. Before it even started to get a little squirrely 5-6 years ago, I felt that way. It's like, this is just, it's the same 4 talking points for 3 months. But there's a newness here because we have been down and you are emerging. Also, it doesn't hurt that the product has a pitch clock like MLB does as well. So the games speed up a little bit. But people are invested in this in a way that I haven't seen probably since I was a student, and I'm happy for it. I'm happy for the program because there are a lot of people who go out to Hauser year after year, these last 5 or 6, and they haven't seen very much to be happy about. Now they do.
Answering the question, Ernie Sims is back on the staff. He is an off-the-field staff member. He is an analyst. I ran into Ernie yesterday. We gave each other huge hugs and had a long conversation. It's great to see Ernie. He had nothing but joy in his heart and a smile on his face. He asked about you, Tom. He asked about everybody. He wanted to know how everybody was doing. He was proudly wearing his Florida State gear. He was excited. He talked to me about Adam Fuller. He talked to me about the opportunity to come back home and to have a chance to be here. A lot of people have asked about it in the chat. I've seen it all over the boards. I know that Ira posted a picture yesterday of Ernie. And so
it's a it's a wink, wink, nod, nod deal, I think, at this point. Like, I don't know that it's official. I got to protect us, so I'm jumping in.
We're fine. I mean, Ernie's out there yesterday on the field. I mean, people, come on, who are we kidding here? So, and he was seen by everybody. You're not going to be able to keep that under the wraps. Yes, the nature of the deal, the specifics of any kind of a contract or anything like that, I don't know. I don't presume to know. I just know what he told me, and he's happy to be working with Florida State. So it's exciting. And he was overjoyed to be in the house. I will tell you that. And I have had, over the years, Tom and I got to know Ernie exceptionally well. He did some work with us at ESPN when we were there at ESPN Radio. And he's since gone down to South Florida. Then he was at USF, literally at USF most recently, Florida Atlantic before that. So he'd been a lot of different places, and Ernie is back in Tallahassee. So it was good to see him. Hey, listen, a lot of folks yesterday kind of milling about watching this Florida State football team for the same sort of reasons that we talk about with the baseball team, the buzz of speed and the influx of more of it. I think that was really readily apparent yesterday. It's one day. Now I'm eager to see everybody put on the pads and get after it, because this team is not devoid of talent. And they got a lot of guys and a lot of suitors and a lot of places to get excited about. And that includes, Tom, a couple of guys that impressed me at linebacker yesterday, at least body type-wise. And then, there were no false steps and drills. I saw a lot of things that kind of pumped me up a little bit about what's potentially there at linebacker. We'll see. That's an area I'm always dubious of. Lord knows the speed at wide receiver, and the battle between the secondary and the wide receiver is going to be an ongoing thing all spring on into the fall. It's going to be intense. There are so many really talented young men out there competing for limited spots at wide receiver, at defensive back, at safety. There are so many guys that flash. That was the most intense part of the practice, as it makes sense that it would be. When you're not in pads, it's a little bit tougher to get excited about the trenches. You can look at body types, you can talk about what they are, but you can't know a lot until we really get into the hand-to-hand combat that pads bring with them. But you can still learn a lot when you're watching coverage drills and routes and passes and catches and deflections. You can learn a lot there.
Well, again, because those position groups are so deep and because there are probably going to be, what do you think, 4 or 5 players that are practicing right now for Florida State combined on both sides of the ball that might not be a part of fall camp, like the desperation is going to be there every day, whether they're in pads or not, whether it's a go for broke kind of day or they dial it back because, there are certain parts of spring camp, just like fall camp, where maybe they go a little bit easy on the guys because they've been running them through a scrimmage or they're running them through full contact drills by today's definition as hard as they possibly can. You can't take a day off in that scenario. I think last year's group, and they were great at practice. Do not get me wrong. I'm not saying that they were complacent, but you knew that Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson were the guys. These guys are forging for themselves right now. Malik Benson is the leader in the clubhouse, and Hakeem Williams has an inside track, and so does Destin Hill. But there are a lot of jobs on the line, and we don't even know what the offense is going to look like formationally speaking. How many times out of 10 are we going to have 3 wide receivers on the field or 4? How many times out of 10 are we going to have 2 running backs on the field or just the one? It's going to be fascinating to see how they build the offense and how they construct it based upon DJ's strengths. Also tells you how many reps there are to be had for running backs, tight ends, and wide receivers. And then on the other side of the ball as well, you kind of know your base on defense, and you could count how many guys are going to be out there at any given time based on down and distance. That is already set. But we don't know who those answers are, what the answers are going to be. Greedy Vance was a leader in the clubhouse for slot corner last year. Jerrion Jones was so good that he's going to end up getting drafted for playing that position. Well, is it Greedy's time now, or is Earl Little going to take that job? And if Earl takes it, where does Greedy go? And so forth, up to the safety position. It's going to be a battle every day. And that's what gets so exciting. And that's why, for me personally, 6 days when I get to see it with my own eyes, they're going to be in pads. And I can't wait to see how that practice goes.
Rick, I do love talking body type. I will address that in the Heiselinka chat, Heiselinka Law Firm chat, I should say. Football is about body type. You should listen to coaches at practices. It gets downright uncomfortable when they talk about body types. If you ask about a young player coming in, yeah, go check out his ass, Jeff. That's a thick one. You're like, okay, all right, so we're talking football here, right? Everybody talking football? It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Thousands of patients finally getting relief from chronic joint pain thanks to QC Kinetics non-invasive treatments. And here's one who was determined to avoid surgery. Meet Vicky.
The orthopedic surgeon said, well, you're going to need knee replacement sooner rather than later. I kept hearing commercials about QC Kinetics and thought, well, I'm going to check them out first.
QC Kinetics has treated over 20,000 patients like Vicky around the country. People who were told they needed surgery but chose a more natural, less invasive approach that uses regenerative treatments to help heal and restore painful joints with no downtime.
If QC Kinetics had not been what I expected, I would have gone through with the surgery, but I got so much relief, am now pretty much pain-free that I don't have to have the surgery.
Before going under the knife, you need to check out QC Kinetics. The consultation is free. Call today.
Call 850-391-4280. That's 850-391-4280. 850-391-4280.
Services, conferences to call away. 222-7722. AC and electric is what we do. Service, repairs, and installation too. 222-7722. Parker Services, conferences to call away.
Invest in a Peak Performance membership and you'll buy peace of mind in knowing that you're extending the life of your system and probably saving money on your power bill too. The program includes comprehensive tune-ups that keep your system running at its maximum efficiency. And Peak Performance members get many benefits, including priority service. Members jump to the front of the line when their comfort system fails. And a 15% discount on all parts. The Peak Performance membership pays for itself over and over again. Call today and have peace of mind. And Parker's is now offering electrical services too.
Parker Services, conferences to call away.
Florida license number CMC 050334.
Oh my God, what happened to you? You're walking so crooked.
Well, I was walking my alligator and I tripped on a cypress knee and I spilled my margarita.
Oh my gosh, your margarita.
Got blown my back completely out. I had to ride the alligator home. I don't know what to do. My back's killing me.
You're such a Florida man. You should know you should go to Finn Chiropractic.
Really?
You can go to their website and book an appointment and get you in as soon as possible. Go to finnchiro.com, FENNCHIRO.com.
You mean 24 hours a day I can make my appointment online and pay for it?
Yep, right on their website.
Wow, and it's discounted?
Yeah.
All right, that's what Florida man needs to do.
No lines, no waiting. Visit fenchiro.com to book your next appointment with a discount. FENNCHIRO.com. That's FENNCHIRO.com. It's Fen Chiropractic, where the chiropractors love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Hold my beer. I'm going to Finn Chiropractic.
I'm Greg Tisch here to share one of my favorite TCC stories. In the summer of 1966, Eugene Lamb wanted to stay in shape before leaving to play college basketball in Louisiana. So he jogged to Tallahassee from his home in Midway and helped lay the bricks for the first building on what's now the TCC campus on Appleyard Drive. Today, he is a longtime member of the TCC District Board of Trustees. It's no exaggeration when we say Trustee Lamb helped build TCC into what it is today.
TCC thanks our community for 58 years of support. We look forward to moving into the future together.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on top.
We're on the social medias. We're everywhere. We're all over the place. And these days, I get sick of myself popping up on things. It's just like, oh, look at that. There we are. Are we on the reels, Tom? We do the reels.
Yeah, I mean, we're speaking on the reel right now, brother. You and me, honesty. That's the number one thing. But yes, Instagram, sure. Yeah, Instagram reels, there are those too. Director Ben behind the scenes works on those. So
he does a great job. I will tell you what's funny is my grandma is 97 years old. One of the greatest people I have ever known, certainly, and is as supportive as they come when it comes to the Jeff Cameron Show. But admittedly, at 97, I don't think she gets how the algorithms work. So she has hit on her phone the Jeff Cameron Show just to check in on me here and there because she wants to see her grandson doing his radio show, as she says. And then, of course, now her phone and the YouTube there, Tom, knows that she watches the Jeff Cameron Show. So every day it pops up on her phone, and she's like, he's everywhere. I can't believe it. Everywhere I look, it's my grandson. I'm like, well, that's design. They kind of got you. You're in your own silo. It's a Jeff Cameron Show silo. That's it. It's you there.
It's basically Minority Report without the holograms in front of your face. But that's kind of where we are at this point. Yeah, customized advertising. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. By the way, Melissa, you're spot on. There are some more robust asses over at Hauser these days, too. I love it, guys. What a good conversation on a Balls McWednesday. Huh? Let's go. Next thing you know, we'll start talking about how many dongs we're going to hit this year. And
there you go.
We're just free flowing.
So I will say that a phrase, I like the amen there, Melissa, because my wife says whenever we go to Hauser, God bless baseball pants. That's like the number one thing. She always says that. She goes, God bless baseball pants. And so I always laughed at that because I'm like, man, men always get the rap for being, either chauvinistic or objectifying or whatever it is.
We're visual creatures, though, more than women. Typically, we like to look.
But then when softball emerged out of nowhere, I decided, you know what? Allow me to retort. God bless softball pants.
Allow me to retort. I remember when the Bucks would wear the all whites and it would pour in Tampa, and I'd go, nope, not what we do, not what we do.
That's all we wear. We never wear the pewters ever. It's like 2 games a year.
I don't understand why we don't wear the pewters. I love
the pewters. The Reds. I'm sorry, but yeah, the pewters as well.
The pewter and the red, yeah. We did in the Super Bowl though, right? We were pewtered in red.
The first one, yes.
Yeah, we were pewtered in red. Yeah.
The second one that we won, the second Super Bowl that we were victorious in.
Yeah.
We had the white uniforms on. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can never remember if it's that or the NFC Championship game or the 2 Super Bowl victories or which, as you go through our history, which used to be checkered with losses and now is that of a elite franchise compared to many others around the league.
So, like the Lightning, for example, has won the Stanley Cup in the black uniform, the white uniform,
blue,
and the blue.
And the blue, yeah.
Three different colors.
The black uniforms, I remember that was the first one. Yeah, and
Correct.
then the next 2 Stanley Cup championships that were won, 2 different uniforms, but more modern.
Yeah.
But the last one being the blue, I think it was. Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah.
Nailed it. It's fun when we talk about winning championships like that and which uniform combo we were in. Traditional garb for Florida State in the last national championship victory against Auburn.
Yeah, so 93, was it white? Or they weren't. It was white that night, right? I think. 99 and 13 are definitely garnet. Both of those are most certainly garnet. But I'm pretty sure that the Sports Illustrated cover I had on my wall growing up.
Well, it's the white top with the garnet numbers, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw Nebraska, because that photo has Nebraska guys on the ground in red. So I think that's correct.
And the devastation of the missed field goal. And I believe that's the one. We wore gold pants, white tops, garnet numbers. Isn't that right?
That
With the
right,
gold outline?
I don't think the garnet pants weren't a thing in 93, were they?
No, but I said gold pants.
Yeah, I agree. No, I'm saying that's why I'm saying I agree. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, we wouldn't have gone out there in garnet pants now. You're right. Later on, Burt Reynolds gave us the all garnets, which burned. Which they did. The warehouse they were stored in is allegedly burned to the ground.
I really miss great moments in Seminole history with Burt Reynolds on Sunshine Network. That was tremendous television because Deckerhoff is asking Burt about a game in like 1982, and then Burt starts talking about his career off Broadway in London.
Yeah.
He's like, I was in London, but it was off Broadway. But it was in England, so it wasn't off Broadway, but it was the same thing. I'm like, this is supposed to be about the 82 game against Miami.
I'll do this for everybody. I had the great pleasure, and everybody can, if you're a Knoll, this is very specific, obviously, so you'll be happy. I was walking into the Moore Athletic Center on Monday for the start of spring football and the coaches' luncheon, and I got there early because of construction, and it's crazy over there right now. I mean, you don't know where is it we're going to park. This is like, does this work? Do I have a pass for sitting here? Am I in a construction zone? It's a mess. It's a mess over there. All right. So I wanted to get there very, very early, and I did. And as I came around the corner on a delightful day, this has been a perfect week in Tallahassee. I'm just enjoying the walk through campus, and I'm looking at the construction. I'm kind of in awe of everything. And I turn to my right, and it's the great Gene Deckerhoff. And there he stands. He, too, is looking at all of the construction, and he's in awe. And so I said, there he is, the voice. And he turned and smiled and said, hey, Jeff, it's great to see you, and gave me a hug. And I gave him a hug, and we started talking and catching up. And we went through all of the times that we've walked out there together for practice or to a luncheon. And, I've been doing this now for going on 27 years. It's crazy to think about. And so we were having a blast talking about, these last several years and sort of the different players to come through the program and how it relates to the changes at Doak Campbell Stadium. But Gene, just so everybody, the whole reason I bring this up, Gene is looking great. He's in tip-top shape, and he was sharp as a tack and pumped about the upcoming football season. And even though he's not doing play-by-play anymore, he's there at the luncheon talking to coaches. How great is that? And just wants to be involved in it, and it was awesome.
Well, he was there also for Chip Baker Day. I'm sure he's been there for other baseball games as well, just sitting behind home plate, kind of towards the first base line a little bit. But then, it's hard to be Gene Deckerhoff and sitting in the stands anywhere without striking up a bunch of different conversations. But yeah, he wants to be in the mix still, and that's great. He's still obviously working with the Buccaneers. I don't think he's retired yet from working on Sundays. But you talk about those interactions. I got to have one or two with him. One of them was 2013 Clemson after we were in the parking lot and getting mean mugged by Clemson personnel.
My favorite, yeah.
Man, I got to have a 20-minute talk with Gene. It was probably 2 hours before kickoff, and he's just sitting down at the table. And I'll never, ever forget that day because he was the radio to me. Like on Saturdays and Sundays, because the Buccaneers games at home never were on television. They were blacked out. We didn't sell out games.
Which was stupid, but yes.
So Saturdays and Sundays, we would replace the TV audio with Gene on Saturdays. There was no TV to watch for Buccaneers football on Sundays when we were at home. So I was listening always, always, always to Gene Deckerhoff. And the fact that he's still doing that, I'm pushing 40. And he was already a veteran at that time. It's just kind of wild.
Attention, Florida. Are you a victim of an auto accident? We introduce our live chat sponsor, Heisen Legal Law Firm, dedicated to representing injured clients statewide. If you've been in an accident, call Heisen Legal Law Firm at 813-803-0733 for a free consultation. Remember, there's no cost to you unless they win. Your interests come first with the Heisen Legal Law Firm, the name you can trust for justice. Call 813-803-0733 now, or you can visit HeisenLegalLawFirm.com. That's HeisenLegalLawFirm.com. Your advocate in times of need, offices, Tampa.
News now.
The Seminoles are back on the field for spring practice this week, trying their best to remain focused on the game. Coming off a remarkable 2023 and dozens of new players, Coach Mike Norvell says the team is making progress in meshing together. The university's ongoing legal battle with the ACC looms. A North Carolina court will decide whether to pause the ACC's lawsuit against the FSU Board of Trustees on Friday. The conference alleges FSU spilled trade secrets and cannot challenge the conference in any other state. A similar decision will be made on FSU's lawsuit against the conference by a Leon County court on April 9th. FSU alleges that the ACC mishandled its media rights and that exit fees over $500 million cannot be enforced. Most fans agree that it's time for Florida State to leave for a more lucrative conference like the SEC or Big Ten. FSU spring practice began yesterday and runs through the spring showcase game on April 20th. This is Rachel Lene with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McLemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Bright sunshine this afternoon with a high of 73. Winds out the west around 5 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 47 tonight, mainly clear skies. Daytime highs approaching 78 tomorrow. A mix of clouds and sun. Turning cooler Friday and Saturday with highs from the upper 60s to the low 70s. Thunderstorms both days. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently 68.
Have you been injured on Interstate 10? I'm Jimmy Fasig of Fasig Brooks Law Offices. We've partnered with RoadProof to access all interstate traffic cameras along I-10 from Pensacola to Jacksonville. Let us help you get the proof you need to stand up for yourself and get fair compensation for your injuries. Call us today and let us secure the proof you need to come back stronger. Basic Brooks, 850-777-7777. Offices Destin, Tallahassee, and Jacksonville.
So everybody knows, Eddie, that you are a spectacular cook. Of course they know that. If they go into Bumpa's, the food is always good. I mean, everything on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
Everything at Gordo's is delicious. I always, of course, get the bungalow chungle, as I call it.
The bunk on lechon, Jeff.
Is that what is the pork?
The bunk on lechon, Jeff.
Okay, the bungalow chungle. It's delicious. All these things, all the items, everything you do, a master cook. But, sir, I would ask you, what is a skill that you possess that you're particularly proud of that nobody would know and that you could share with us here?
Growing hair, Jeff. Growing hair.
You're an asshole. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside
do we have, we have Wake Up tonight, I believe, a Wake Up Warchant tonight on YouTube.
Tonight is a recruiting chat. We're nailing down the time. It's supposed to be 6 o'clock. I'm just waiting on confirmation from Michael. Tomorrow night, you have a Wake Up Warchant live, and that's going to be in the 8 p.m. hour. I believe it's either 8 or 8:30 because, again, practice runs late, and there's a lot of coverage to distribute once Thursday practice is over. So tonight, the plan is recruiting chat. Big weekend this weekend for Florida State. This is where they put all their eggs in the spring basket, at least in March, for this Saturday. So Michael will be breaking that down, and then tomorrow, Wake Up Warchant. Tons of live shows this week.
Well, I think the interesting thing, too, with recruiting is, it's never been my bag, but I've always understood the importance. And there are a few guys I lock in on every year where I'll say, okay, it's important that they get this guy, or he could be a benchmark for this class, or this guy could be a guy that recruits other players. It's just, there's always a few guys that you kind of isolate. But because of the nature of NIL and because transfers are unlimited, it's hard to kind of wrap your mind around guys that are coming in 25 or 26 and on down the line. But I will say this, it gets a little bit easier the further removed we are from the Travis Hunter situation and the, I guess, renewed sense of success at the high school ranks and the amount of visits from elite players that we're seeing from Florida State garner. So, the fact that you're getting a bunch of 5-stars and potential 5-star kids to come here, it just shows that the buzz surrounding Florida State as a program is continuing to grow. And I think we all recognize that. And I'm glad there's somebody like Michael who's got his finger on the pulse of all that and able to talk about where these guys are and their thought process and what Florida State's looking to do. And they got to continue to get better in the high school ranks. So I'm looking for them to continue to grow as they did a year ago. Wasn't perfect a year ago. They lost out again on a couple of the elite guys. Next step is to go ahead and close the door on those players.
I think that's part of the infrastructure that was agreed to when Mike Norvell was extended and given a raise. And we all support the infrastructure that is necessary to make sure that in December we have more smiles, because there are plenty of smiles in March and in August, and October. But how about December? If we can close one of those types of classes that's in the top 5 sphere, and really it addresses the needs too. Sometimes you can get up that high and you're getting a bunch of skill players, but the trenches aren't fortified. But if we can do that, and they've already got that depth built up to a new place. That's the number one thing that the coaching staff talked about. That's the takeaway that I got from you last night when we were talking live.
It's everywhere. Yeah.
It's everybody's takeaways, man. Top end, we'll see. Superstars, first team this, first team that. Award finalists, we'll see. But there are more capable players on this roster than there were even last year. And that's amazing to say.
Let's circle back to the big news of the day yesterday. I'm scheduled to be on with Andy Staples tomorrow's show for On 3. Let's talk a little bit about what that means. You and I haven't had the chance. We already talked about it on Seminole Headlines, but obviously welcome to the party was the refrain yesterday from all Florida State fans who were happy to see that Clemson University filed a lawsuit against the ACC. They did so in Pickens County, South Carolina. Those were the court filings yesterday. It is a 28-page complaint. It is the first step by Clemson to ultimately leave the conference, which is exactly what Florida State is attempting to do. We already know that Florida State is seen as being entrenched in their battle, their court battle against the ACC and the grant of rights situation. And now Clemson joins the fight. We understand what a big deal that is. I thought it was also interesting. And I asked a specific question about this, Tom, to a lawyer who we've had on before, Michael Mestre. And I wanted to know this because I wondered if this caught your attention as well. In reading through that, now there's a lot of stuff on there that you're kind of like, all right. But as you go through and read this, the Clemson lawsuit had a contention that a vote to sue FSU by the ACC never happened. That there was no vote. And my thought in reading that was, and I'm not an attorney, so I think this could be easily dismissed. But don't you think, Tom, that if that's true, shouldn't FSU immediately, for lack of a better term, subpoena the ACC presidents and ADs and make them go on the record saying whether or not there was a vote for the lawsuit? Because if they have to tell the truth and there wasn't, wouldn't the state of North Carolina's lawsuit wouldn't that get thrown out?
Well, okay. There's been a few developments that strengthen Florida State's position. The obvious one is the Clemson files, but I don't think Clemson would put on a legal document that it wasn't consulted about a vote, that a vote didn't happen, if they're not prepared to defend that under oath in a separate setting. Like they already are in a way, saying that, that this is what happened. But I think Clemson by itself is all you really need, because isn't every member institution supposed to be consulted for a step like the ACC countersuing or doing whatever that they did with FSU? Isn't every member institution supposed to be a part of that vote? So as long as you have one, I feel like that meets the requirements of, you don't need to get anybody else to go on record. As long as you have one saying that, then you're improving your position. The other thing I would say that's happened is nobody's refuted that 2025 opt-in by ESPN. The ACC hasn't refuted that claim. That was new evidence brought to light. New bleep has come to light, man. And they have it. That would be the easiest thing to shoot down if it wasn't true. When you have Clemson and Florida State asking to leave and there's a 2025 pinch point, your leverage only increases of, do you want some money or not? Because ESPN's not about to renew the ACC network if we're not a part of this. But that hasn't been a piece of the discussion, I think, until yesterday, at least in my mind. I wasn't considering that ESPN wouldn't re-up the ACC network. I think, of course, they would if it was just FSU trying to get out. But if FSU and Clemson are both legally now saying that we want out, North Carolina is chicken and they're right behind us.
Yeah.
The ACC doesn't have a product. The ESPN doesn't have a product they want to air. They can use that money elsewhere. They can use that money to make other offerings more robust. So I think what this does is puts ESPN in a position where they might say, yeah, guys, Jim, I don't know. You might need to find a new television home because we're not going to give you the network. And at that point, the leverage even increases for Florida State to get a settlement.
Yeah, I do think that there's something to consider as it pertains to North Carolina, and that is North Carolina politics. And NC State there are administrators at NC State that have a lot of sway. The state is going to say to North Carolina, what about NC State? This is the way I read it, and there are some articles about this that suggest Carolina's not going to have it as easy, despite being really sought after by all parties involved, as maybe we have it or Clemson has it. As far as what I've just asked about a lawsuit to maybe get it thrown out, the case of North Carolina, is I was told procedurally you would issue a subpoena requesting documents that reflects communication statements, etc., regarding the vote on January 12th and their request their deposition. So let's see if that happens next. It's just going to be fascinating. Some of the stuff as it reads suggests that, man, this could be expedited if some of these accusations are proven. Now, that said, we're just talking about the same thing over and over again, which I said the other day is that there is an air of inevitability here. This is over. And we all get this, right? This is over. I can't fathom that this conference exists as it currently does in the year 2025.
No, I don't think there's any way. And maybe 25 is the grand exit, and everybody gets a farewell tour, one more trip up to Snuggy Hill or something along those lines. But every legal argument that you can make, everything you could put out there that has some weight to it, I think decreases the value of the eventual settlement. Because I think you agree with me. This is still, like, we're not opposed to paying a little bit of money if it can help us get free and clear sooner. We would love to get out for zero, but if you have to pay just a little bit of money by whatever Florida State's definition is, then fine, let's do that to clarify where we are so that we can accept whoever wants us to be a part of their conference. We can accept those conversations on the record. They can go on phone logs. They can happen in the open air, and then we can make our move. But the other thing that's happened, and you brought this up, before Jim Phillips agreed to the college football playoff deal.
Oh, once you agreed to this lopsided deal that's in place, you're admitting that you're a secondary conference, that you are a step below the SEC and the Big Ten.
By financial definition, The
Yes.
ACC is not as valuable as the SEC and the Big Ten in yet another way, which is the college football playoff revenue distribution percentage. They accepted a lesser percentage. And so if you're going to make an argument in court that the ACC is a barrier to our maximizing ourselves in terms of value, you have proof. The commissioner just co-signed it. The commissioner agrees with you in the open. And I think that's also another big moment in this potential fight back and forth, where now you've got Clemson, you've got that consideration and some other developments. I think it just got cheaper for Florida State in the last couple of weeks.
What now is what everybody asks, which is, to me, more a question about the time frame. If you accept that this air of inevitability that I reference is real, and that the conference as currently constructed is going to crumble, and that its greatest assets are going to flee, the question is when and where. And that's what we'll now wait, because I think, yes, you can get bogged down in the legalese, and it matters, and it'll interest you and me, and we'll read about it, and we'll find a way to parse that and talk to attorneys and present it in some sort of way that provides context. But I do think that it's also important to try to get a timetable for everybody, and then most importantly, everybody wants to know where. Everybody's got an opinion on whether or not it would be best for Florida State to end up in the Big Ten or the SEC. Everybody agrees, no matter which side of the fence you're on regarding the SEC or the Big Ten, that we can't be here. And so that's where this is. I had a good long conversation yesterday with ESPN's Andrea Adelson. It's interesting to listen to folks that work for ESPN talk about this matter. There is a lot of conjecture, just as there is for those of us who don't. And there's a lot of interesting conversations behind the scenes about, look, man, now is a really interesting fight that is happening behind the scenes between Fox and ESPN for the acquisition of assets. This is game on, because they can see that the legal aspect of this has been sped up, and that these teams, these programs that would be desirous of the two networks are about to be, however it happens, free agents. And you don't want to be, if you're ESPN, in a situation where the Big Ten claims a foothold in your backyard with a Clemson, a North Carolina, a Florida State, throw one more in there if you have to, whatever, Virginia, Miami, NC State, whomever. Okay, you don't want that, because now, even though you've been the big dog, you're looking at a coast-to-coast national conference with a whole lot of assets that outweigh at that point in due time what the SEC has.
Well, and I still believe we can talk about, I know ESPN with the fan base has its relationship. Like there's the coverage side, and then there's the boardroom side.
Yeah.
The boardroom side, the corporate side, the Disney, all of that stuff. ESPN doesn't make as much money as it used to. You've seen what they've done to their staff in Bristol, their operation. They've shrunk it all down.
Cut.
But they still spend a ton of money on live programming, and they could use an influx of more cash. And this is where I believe, while ESPN has to stand on the side of the ACC in these proceedings, if Florida State, Clemson can help break this thing and help put ESPN in a position where they can say with a straight face, it is not in our financial interest to renew the ACC network deal, the ACC television contract, because we don't want to pay just Boston College and Wake Forest and Duke and Syracuse. And yeah, Louisville's a nice program, but that's not worth the money that we've agreed to pay these institutions. If they can get that money off the books and redistribute it somewhere else to some of their other programming that they're trying to purchase, I think ESPN would be all for it. In a way, I think ESPN is hoping this thing becomes such a lousy product, this conference, that they can walk away scot-free or renegotiate the deal with the ACC to free up some more capital. I think that would be the political thing for ESPN. We don't lose either way here, but I think we win bigger if the ACC can come off our books and we can spend the money elsewhere.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, all most fans care about is, where do we go? How soon do we get there? And, what's it going to look like from a scheduling standpoint? This will be fun. It'll be a lot of fun to watch, to find out where we're going, whether you're booking flights to Columbus, Ann Arbor, Los Angeles. Goodness gracious. Imagine going to see Florida State take on Southern Cal, go take on Oregon, go take on Washington, go take on Ohio State, go take on Michigan. Or is it – go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm seeing the reports out there. It's in the chat, but that the SEC will stick with 8 conference games in 2025. Of course they will, because they're going to partner with the Big Ten for a cross-conference rivalry, so both networks win.
Yeah,
that's what this is all. The Power 2 are going to work against each other, but they're also going to work together too.
Well, this gets back to collusion, and the fact that they will collude because they've already shown evidence of it. Yeah, but it wasn't colluding; they made it public that they were working together. So, they may be fighting over assets and who gets what, but they're going to work together eventually because this is the Super League. This is the Super League. This is where it's going to be, and we'll be a part of it. Just a matter of where you're traveling. Chef Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Attention, Florida. Are you a victim of an auto accident? We introduce our live chat sponsor, Hyson Lika Law Firm, dedicated to representing injured clients statewide. If you've been in an accident, call Hyson Lika Law Firm at 813-803-0733 for a free consultation. Remember, there's no cost to you unless they win. Your interests come first with Hyson Lika Law Firm, the name you can trust for justice. Call 813-803-0733 now or visit HysonLikaLawFirm.com. Hyson Lika Law Firm, your advocate in times of need.
Welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
This is Jay of Paul's Termite and Pest Control. There are many companies out there selling pest treatment programs at prices which seem too good to be true. Like most things, you get what you pay for. Let's separate the fact from the fiction. Fiction. The price these companies offer includes all visits needed to keep a home pest-free. Fact. Their prices only include regular visits for exterior treatments. If you encounter pests inside your home, these companies will charge you for additional visit. Is that really pest prevention? At Paul's Termite and Pest Control, we always apply exterior treatments, but our plan includes a significant difference. Whenever you encounter an interior problem, Paul's technicians are there, usually the same day you call, and there is no extra charge. With ProShield, you'll never pay extra for providing the service we promised. Pest prevention for your home, and we'll be there as many times as needed to honor our commitment with no extra charge. Paul's Termite and Pest Control is a local company that proudly served the Tallahassee area for over 50 years.
For the elimination of termites and any other pests,
call Paul's. We'll get them all.
And we make lawns greener, too.
You probably already know that Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas is your one-stop destination for all pool maintenance needs, offering everything you need from chemicals, cleaners, vacuums, nets, and more. But that's not all. Pinch a Penny also carries a huge selection of premium hot springs hot tubs paired with easy financing options, making these luxury hot tubs affordable for everyone. And if you have an older hot tub and you're worried about the hassle of removing it, worry no more. Pinch a Penny will not only remove and haul away your old hot tub, but also offer a trade-in value for a credit towards your new one. So why wait? Visit Pinch a Penny's 12,000 square foot showroom today on Greer Road and discover how effortless and affordable owning a fantastic hot tub can be. Find out more at TallahasseeHotSpring.com. That's TallahasseeHotSpring.com.
Your body is a masterpiece designed to heal itself from within. Learn how to maximize your health by tuning in to Phenomenal Health with me, Dr. Ryan Finn. Saturdays at 2:30. Experience true health today and call Finn Chiropractic at 386-7700.
Whidden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Whidden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Whidden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Whidden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Whidden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat-screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. The latest betting odds and line movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
College basketball tonight in the NIT, an old rivalry game as Central Florida is matched up against South Florida in Orlando. UCF sitting as a 4.5-point favorite and paying out at minus 215 on the money line. South Florida with a victory pay at plus 176. The over-under at 139.5. The NCAA tournament getting underway tonight with the first four. Two games are being played, each in Dayton, Ohio. Wagner against Howard. Howard, a 3.5-point favorite. The over-under has been set at 127.5. And then the second game has Virginia against Colorado State. Colorado State favored by 2.5. Over-under 120.5. For the latest odds all the time, visit vsin.com. I'm Matt Pauley. This has been your action update on Tallahassee's Real Talk station, Real Talk 93.3.
Hi, my name is Alani. A little thing I like about the Spicy Deluxe sandwich is that you taste the crunch, you taste the pepper jack cheese melting, and you taste the spicy flavors in the sandwich. I'm telling you, 10 out of 10.
Hi, my name's Enrique. A little thing I love about Chick-fil-A's Spicy Deluxe sandwich is you get that rich flavor of the chicken and definitely that nice, tangy, warm bun. It's the perfect harmony of spiciness and taste.
Order the Spicy Deluxe sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Now, during Staples Print Big Sale, get $50 off your print purchase of $100 or more, $50 off your print purchase of $200 or more, and $100 off your print purchase of $300 or more. So the more you print at Staples, the more you save. To demonstrate, print at Staples, you save. But if you print at Staples, you save. See how that works? Staples Print Big Sale. Print more, save more. Up to $100. Ends 4/6. Visit staples.com/print for details.
If you've been waiting for the perfect time to buy your new house, you'll be waiting forever. This is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, and I have been a mortgage lender for over 20 years. And I can tell you that there is no such thing as perfect timing. So take the first step towards your new home and let me show you what that really looks like. Chances are very high that you'll be very surprised at what I can help you do. When rates go low, prices go high, and that home that you've been eyeballing could be gone. If you're wondering how the drop in interest rates is going to affect your payment, give me a call. I'll be more than happy to show you all of the options available to get you into your new home. And for every single loan that we close for a fellow Knoll, I will personally donate $250 per closing to the Battle's End. Let's do this together and let's keep climbing. Call me today at 954-369-6171. That's 954-369-6171. Or you can find me online at loansforknolls.com. That's loansforknolls.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 373031.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool.
Your heating and air conditioning system doesn't check with you before it takes a break. That's why we're always ready to help. Any day, anytime, anywhere. And with our annual service agreement, there are no overtime charges. Ever. At Verno Heating and Air, we will always be there for you.
Barry knows heating and air conditioning.
CC 1816186.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5.
for being here at the party, having a good time talking about Florida State football, Florida State baseball, the national stuff. The tournament gets underway officially tomorrow. How many bets you got on games, Tom? You done your bracket? We won't go through it. Nobody cares. I'm just wondering if you did.
No, I've not done a bracket. I might do one. There's a pool that I like just to be a part of, but I don't get down with the brackets anymore. I've really embraced the whole bet on the individual games thing.
Yep.
And I've got a process that helps me derive power ratings. Like I actually do take the tournament seriously the first weekend. I've had a good system, but I've got to purchase the power rating system today. Get that done tonight.
I know what you use, and I'm ready for you to do it. You need to let me know.
Oh, that's why. Okay, that's why.
No. I take it into account. It's part of one of my mini systems. It's not just that, Tom. It's not just that. I utilize it.
Yeah, I enjoy that system. And the good thing is, you don't have to do it all at once, but day one is a busy day. So tonight into tomorrow morning, I will download that system, and it's been good to me. It's been very, very good to me the last couple of years.
Well, good. I'm ready to hear some answers, especially the ones that jump off the page. Just a little text. Your boy, Jeffy. Just a little, hey, buddy, got you covered. Here's one that makes a lot of sense to me. Wink, wink, nod, nod. That's just good. This is good. I've got a couple, by the way, for golf. For those of you wondering, you asked me a lot about my top 20s these days. I have bets forthcoming on, let's see here, upcoming. What did I do? I took Cam Young to finish in the top 10. I took Christian Bezazenhout to finish in the top 20 at the Valspar, Tom, which we know and love. By the way, I also sprinkled a little pizza on Christian to win the whole tournament. By the way, $5 would win you 205 if he does. Dare to dream. Took Matthew Neesmith to finish in the top 20, Adam Hadwin to finish in the top 20, Doug Gim to finish in the top 20, and away we go. I also have a 14 parlay going for the NCAA tournament, so we'll see what happens there. Just first-round games.
I sense favorites. I sense chalk in that parlay. That's how you get the value.
4. You have to get 4 to 5 teams in order to do any of that. So, yeah.
A lot of ones and twos. A lot of ones and twos.
A lot of ones and twos and what have yous. Yeah, that's exactly right. You got to make that happen. But it's fun. And then soon, you know how quick we're going to be able to do this, buddy? Probables? Probables? We got an announcement regarding that. You're going to have to let everybody in on what we're doing here because we decided, screw you, YouTube, and not YouTubers, not the people in the chat, but like the system of us getting dinged by using the traditional music while we do probables. It was too much to take last year. We decided that that's not going to happen anymore. We're still going to use the music. We're just going to have to do it in a different capacity.
That's correct, because those same bots that took licensed music from Frank Sinatra and others decided to come for the other one that we went to. The like that has now been claimed. So
how is that even possible? What do we do? What kind of world are we living in here? When do we get it together with the YouTube? Stop screwing people.
I don't understand it. We have a license deal with that company too, but it's one of those things where you may be in the right, but you could get flagged, and so it doesn't matter that you're in the right because now that you're in trouble. So we said, screw it. What we'll do at the end of each show is provide you the stream link to 93.3's stream player so you can hear it, because radio licensing, we're absolutely covered to play whatever the hell we want.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be a radio presence that way for probables. And it might appear on the pod as well, but it's going to have the music from yesteryear, all of our favorite hits every day.
Hey, really quick, we're really taking care of a lot of business here, but it's important because time is of the essence, and we have people that have been supporting us, and we're also trying to help some charities here, and every year we do this tournament, and we've been talking about rolling it out and letting everybody know what was going on. Okay, it is time. The Jeff Cameron Show Warchant Invitational, if you will, a little golf tournament action happening, and there on your screen you see, I love it. It's going to be Friday, April the 12th, 8 a.m. We once again will do this tournament, put this tournament on, have fun with this tournament in order to benefit the fine folks of the Second Harvest of the Big Bend. A great charity, does fantastic work. They're also of great help for us. The tournament will take place at Capital City Country Club. Can't wait. It is the Jeff Cameron Show Warchant Invitational Charity Golf Tournament taking place Friday, April the 12th at 8 a.m. Now, let's unveil how it is you can get signed up. We have to roll out a web page for you guys to go get signed up with. And I know that that was the other part of it. We were trying to make it sure that was in good working order. Tom, reveal, please, what it is they have to do to get signed up with their team of 4.
Okay, so if you're listening on the radio, the easiest way to do it, because the link is a long link. I don't know if you could take it down in the car. If you've got an immense, capacity like Jeff's friend who could read credit card numbers backwards and forwards.
Back in the day, yeah.
Then I'll read it out in a second, but it's in the chat right now. It's an eventcreate.com link. You see it in the chat. You can click on it right now to sign up. We will have it on our social media. So if you follow at Jay Cameron Show on Twitter or me or Warchant and on the boards, we'll make sure to put the link in all of those places to find it easy. But in case you want to put yourself to the test, eventcreate.com/e/JCS Golf 2024. And if you got that right, eventcreate.com/e/JCS Golf 2024, then you already don't need to go to social media. You don't need to go to the websites, but we'll provide you that information. And there's going to be a ton of fun stuff this year. This event is, once again, for all those 21 plus, you're going to have a really good time. The one difference to note, 8 a.m. start, 7 a.m. registration. We've been later in the morning in past years, but it's an 8 a.m. start. So don't be late. It's going to be a great time. The gifts for you are going to be great. The provisions, the food, the provisions, all of it. You're going to love it all.
You're too young to remember that song, but I just, when you said don't be late, I broke into Ain't No Half Stepping. So yeah, got to be there. 80s hit, Tom. 80s hit. You go again last time, but we'll read it out here today, but I'm glad that you posted it on the chat for those driving about. That is eventcreate.com/e/JCS Golf 2024. Now, as is usually the case, this will fill up in like 24 hours, 48 hours. You don't have a lot of time. If you want to get signed up, you got to probably do it today. Get your house in order, kids. Call your people.
And also, if you've got a birthday coming up and somebody says, what can I have? What can I get you? Get an Uber credit. Get an Uber credit card. Get an Uber gift card, an Uber code.
Are you saying there are adult beverages at the golf course while we raise money for charity?
Unless you really want to, you won't have to pay for one. That's what I'm saying. And I'm saying that afterward, the banquet, as always, Corner Pocket Bar and Grill comes through as one of the top-level sponsors of this event. They've been a partner of the Warchant Golf Tournament yesteryear. They are our fantastic title sponsor. Banquet after, food, appetizers, wing bar, and then a keg of beer that is free for everybody who is a part of the tournament. So you've got your day covered. That is also Masters Friday, I should note. So once we're done, we're going to be putting on the Masters on all the televisions at Corner Pocket. It's going to be an exceptional day on Friday, April 12th.
Who amongst us is not picking Scotty Scheffler to win said Masters at this point? I mentioned it at the start of last hour that Virginia was beaten last night, and that led to me celebrating as if my tournament was over because Virginia didn't deserve to make the tournament. There is no way, no how they should have made the tournament. They looked like ass over the last 4 weeks. They had gone. This is a bad basketball team, okay? And they make the tournament. They get selected as an at-large 10 seed for the first 4. And teams like St. John's, Tom, oh, you can do it. You must have been beside yourself, right? When St. John's and Rick Pitino were left out.
You telling me I can go to the NIT? Why would I ever go to the NIT? With St. John's. With St. John's. You understand?
By the way, the NIT is in trouble, Tommy. The NIT is not going to exist much longer. It's like people are just opting out of the NIT left and right. Like, nah, we're good. We're good.
That never should have been a thing. When I was a child, when I was a younger man, the NIT was this deal when I was a younger man, but it was passed long ago. Like these antiquated committees that hold out St. John's.
Well, they screw up the seating too. If you go back through, I don't want to get into the weeds with this. They screwed up the seating on a lot of this. But anyhow, Indiana State, Cincinnati, Villanova, Pitt, and Wake Forest all had better metrics than Virginia. None of them made it, and they get the gift bid. Who knows why? But here you go. They take that ass beaten by over 20 points. Colorado State lays the wood to Bennett's boys, 67-42 last night in Dayton, and the Cavs scored all of 14 points in the first half. Thanks for the 14 points, children. We're trying to play some basketball around here. This is awful. This is like my son played basketball in high school last year. Now, there are games and matchups occasionally in high school basketball where somebody is grossly mismatched. And you'll go to a game like that. It's nice when it's your team doing the ass kicking, but you begin to feel bad for the other team. It's terrible when you're on the other side of it. But in high school, it can happen, just the way schools are arranged. And all of a sudden, you'll see something like a halftime score of 38-10. And you go, oh, this is unwatchable. This isn't good. That's what we were doing last night. That was it last night. Virginia, looking like an overmatched high school team playing in 1937. Just four-cornering this thing. Man, what can we ban Virginia and Tony Bennett? This is awful. This is not basketball. And I'm glad their sorry asses dropped 14 points in a half of a tournament basketball game. That is humiliating.
So I did a quick search on the fly. I found at least 4 instances of Virginia scoring 14 or more points in football this past season, and that team was awful. I've found 4 instances of them scoring 14 or more points on the football field in the first half this past year.
It was awesome. And so, look, in the second half, they doubled their scoring output by scoring a robust 28 points in the second half. And that was only because, look, man, they stopped running the shot clock down and began to shoot because they had to. The first available look, the way the game should be played. That is the second lowest scoring total in an NCAA tournament game under Bennett since they got beat by Florida. That 4-5 game of the East Regional in 2017, 65-39. Now, here's my favorite part. The lowest score by any team in the NCAA tournament since the shot clock was introduced in 1986. By the way, Tom, the year you were born, and I was a sophomore in high school, was when number 5 seed Wisconsin upset by number 12 seed Southwest Missouri State 43-42, Tom, in the 1999 NCAA tournament. Guess who was the head coach of Wisconsin that year? Dick Bennett, Tony's father. The whole Bennett family can go to hell. There's nonsense out here scoring 32 points in a basketball game. What are we doing? Peace. I know you won a national championship. This just shows you, though, man, that you can still be garbage. And they are as antiquated as it gets. It's unbelievable. Peace out. Story of the tournament. I don't care what happens after that.
Well, that would make them the story of the tournament at least 3 times in the last 10 years because they lost to a 16 seed. They won the tournament.
Yeah.
And now they dropped 42 in the first 4.
He's fortunate. He's fortunate. That year that they rebounded with 2 NBA players and ran it back and got lucky and, stole 3 games in the last second on their way to a national title. That hadn't happened. His ass would be fired today because that is a humiliating result. 14 points and a half. You bunch of little children out here playing basketball. Come on. Get some grown-ups out here and play the game.
That would be like opening up a Zaxby's lunchbox and having 3 fries. Like 3 fries.
It would never happen. Don't associate it with Virginia basketball. No, sir. You think of the 94 Zaxby's here in town, and you celebrate them the way that you would Florida State's ACC championship season that would have been a Final Four appearance had COVID not hit. You celebrate greatness. You don't associate the awesomeness of Zaxby's with this Virginia basketball team and Tony Bennett.
I mean, could you imagine? You're just like, I want the combo meal. I'm really hungry. Let's up it to a large beverage. Thank you very much. Awesome. You know what? I'm going to still get it to go, but I'm going to pull into a parking spot because I like to eat in solitude, but I don't want to walk into the place. I want to leave my car. So I'm going to get in the parking spot, open up the box. All right. I start with the fries. We always go fries
Here
first.
we go. I got 5 fries.
5 fries.
What are we doing over here?
These are 5 delicious crinkle cut fries, but I believe I'm owed a little bit more than 5 fries. What is this?
5 fries. We're not doing it. That was Virginia basketball last night. Here's 5 fries. That's what you get. Zaxby's won't ever do you like that. And you talk about support. Over 19 years as a Golden Chief booster, support the folks that support the Jeff Cameron Show. Go to Zaxby's. Eat a bunch of great Zaxby's fingers. Celebrate, know that you're doing the right things, and then go to Zaxby's again the next day. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Here's another remarkable success story from QC Kinetics. This one from Chad, who hurt his knee at the gym one day, and it just kept on hurting for months.
From my high school football and wrestling days, I already had a little bit of damage in there, but this just sent it over the edge.
Chad tried traditional treatments with no improvement when he turned to the non-surgical regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics.
It was really fascinating how they did their work, and the science behind it was very intriguing, and it works. Extracting the cure out of my own body blew my mind. It's like I'm brand new again. It was fantastic.
That's because the QC Kinetics natural biologic treatments use your body's own healing power to restore damaged tissue in your hips, shoulders, back, and knees, providing long-lasting relief.
Now I'm back at the gym. I'm 100% feeling great.
If you're tired of suffering with pain from arthritis or injury, call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 850-391-4280. That's 850-391-4280. 850-391-4280.
Thank you for calling the Medicare Help Desk. How can we help you?
Can you help me choose the right coverage for myself and my wife?
We sure can. We can help you choose from Medicare Supplements, Medicare Advantage, or standalone prescription drug plans from over 30 different insurance carriers.
How much does it cost? We have a fixed income and can't afford extra expenses.
At the Medicare Help Desk, the consultation is completely free. We are here to help.
Thank you, Medicare Help Desk.
Hi, this is Justin Colvin, founder of the Medicare Help Desk. In my 17 years of experience, I routinely speak to seniors who are overwhelmed by the multitude of coverage options available to them. That's why I created the Medicare Help Desk, a place for you to get clear answers to all your questions and make sense of all the confusion. I've helped thousands of clients, and I live right here in Tallahassee with my family. I am active in my church and wish to help and serve my community. If you need help navigating the Medicare landscape, I'm easy to find. Just visit the MedicareHelpDesk.com. That's the MedicareHelpDesk.com.
At Paul's Termite and Pest Control, we know if you have something in your home that's not supposed to be there, you want it gone now.
Not in a couple of days, not tomorrow, but today. That's why we offer a same-day guarantee.
If you call Paul's before 12, one of our technicians will be out before 5. We guarantee it.
The health of you, your family, and your pets is why we promise to do everything possible to quickly resolve your problem.
And we do so using the safest chemicals. Notice a pest problem?
Call Paul's Termite and Pest Control before 12, and we're there before 5.
Call Paul's.
We'll get them all.
We're all spending more time at home than we ever have.
And our yards have become more than something we look at through the window. They are now a major part of our refuge.
Now that we're outside more, wouldn't it be great if we could eliminate the things that make us want to run back inside? Pests like mosquitoes and fire ants.
Paul's Pest Control can do just that, and we'll do it for a surprisingly low cost.
Our treatments are done outside. There is never a reason to enter your home.
The weather is beautiful, and now is the time to be outside.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control will help you take your yard back.
Call us for a free consultation.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations.
An exciting one with the team as currently constructed. We mentioned that earlier, that the idea of covering this team is going to be fun. I do think, Tom, you asked me a couple times yesterday. I just want to mention this. I think we've all been looking for signs of, I don't know, the aftermath, the result of the snub, whether it be a player's reaction or a coach's reaction, or how do they go about their business. And I had a couple people ask me that in emails yesterday, knowing that I was out at that practice. You asked me post-practice. I've seen some stuff on the boards and then Twitter. I see zero signs of any ill effects about what happened. I just see, this is where I think having such an influx of transfer portal guys really helps out the program. I think if this was a homegrown group that was just all high school guys that came into the program, that bought in, that worked together, built up, improved over time, and then had it snatched out from under them, and that group was largely intact, having to come back, that you might see some problems with this. But since it's not, and there are a bunch of people that have to prove themselves, I don't know. I just don't. I think they're aided by the fact that you have a lot of new faces.
Yeah, I think so. That's similar to how I feel about the baseball program, and how when things have gone bad or there's been a moment of adversity in a game, you don't get this, oh, here we go again deal. And to go back to football, I think that's why DJU is such an important player, specifically to bring in a quarterback who can lead the offense without being knighted to be your starter. He kind of is, and he's got experience galore from the East Coast to the West Coast. He's got Pacific roots. Like, he's been around a lot of places. He's seen a lot of things on offense, adversity of his own. He's been passed over at a previous program. And Clemson was moving on to a younger quarterback, and Kate Klubnik with a new offense, and they said, you're not for us anymore. It's just, you bring in a player like that, who also has the personality that he does, the personality type that's calm. I think it settles things down. And it also opened the door. Malik Benson was asked about it yesterday. How much of a factor was it when DJU committed to Florida State, to transfer to Florida State, that did Florida State become more of a player for you at that point? He said, of course, because I need to know that the quarterback that I have can make the throws. And how important has Malik Benson been for the health of this culture, the health of this roster? So sure, I mean, I think there's an ignorance is bliss kind of deal with some of the transfers that come in, but you bring in a lot of veteran types too. And they've got no time to worry about what happened in the past, because for them, many of them, this year is their last shot to go make their career dreams happen. So yeah, it's an ancillary benefit, but I think it did help with the transition for this culture for sure.
You brought up Malik Benson. I was so impressed with him yesterday. There were a few guys that really stood out yesterday. And just like, look, first of all, I think that you brought in a level of athleticism that is upgraded year over year in the last 3 years. And I think that holds true based on what I saw yesterday. There are more guys flying around than ever before. And I contended before we ever went out there that this would be a better offense. I'll stick by that. I think it's going to be. But you have, in addition to the speed, you got guys that came in here ready to work, guys that were really excited about the work. I don't know, a coach is going to have kind of a go-to phrasing. He's going to repeat a message because he wants it ingrained, and his assistants are going to repeat that and echo that repeatedly until it just becomes sort of a mantra, a way of doing things. But for us as, outside observers and taking note, you don't know how much of that is at the core, right, of what a player believes. They know what they have to say. They know what's been said to them, but how much do they believe it? How much do they buy in really? Some people go along to get along, and so you don't know. But I think the evidence is overwhelming even already of the newcomers saying, no, we kind of chose Florida State partly because they're really good. They won 13 games last year and went undefeated and won the conference. And they've had a lot of success now of churning guys to the NFL. And we know that the draft is about to feature a ton of Florida State players. So, yeah, they want to get paid. They want to have success. They want to win games. But the other part of that is that there are other programs that do that. There are other programs that win and have success. What you heard from the veteran players that came over from Alabama, or the kid from LSU, Brown, all these, they talked about the methodology, the way, the work. And so I kind of think that's true based on what I saw yesterday. They were all flying and having fun playing football and encouraging and getting to work, man, as if they couldn't wait to be part of all that.
Well, this is something that you get into the psychology of it, but in our own lives, when something goes wrong or we're going through a tough spot, what's one of the biggest pieces of advice you'll get from a lot of people? Go get lost in work for a little while. Go get lost in it. It's just something to take your mind off of whatever is ailing you. And it could be a very troubling thing. It could be a loved one is not doing so well or has passed. It could be, maybe something about work or something else, life. And the idea of getting lost in work, if you can find it. Some people it doesn't work for. For me, it does. When things get difficult, how about I just put in 6 straight hours of doing some stuff for the site? Like that helps you. It takes your mind to a different place. Well, they work very, very hard here at this program, and you can tell based upon the weight changes that you've seen for guys that are holdovers with the program, the guys that are, getting up from underclassmen to upperclassmen status. They went straight to the gym. The moment this snub happened, the moment that the Orange Bowl was over, to be in a position 3 months later, like several of these guys, to have 8 more pounds of muscle, 15 pounds in some cases, or they lose 10 or 15, man, that means that the moment that the bowl practices were over, they're getting lost in the work. And I think that helps. Just staying busy, keeping busy, always being in motion, it does help. Will it repair it? No. I mean, if I'm a kid like Shaheem Brown or Azarie Thomas, and I had it, or Patrick Payton even, I have a chance to get to the playoff and maybe expedite my draft rankings, and I'm noticed more. I'm noticed earlier. Darrell Jackson, Joshua Farmer. I mean, man, what could that have done for those two players? They might not be here. They might not be back here for another year if they were impressive enough in that setting. It won't ever be repaired, but I think it helps. It helps to just get to work. That's what Mike said when they were 0-4, and it was right then and it's right now.
Yeah, so not even a mention of it, not even a thought about it, just guys going to work, getting better, attacking it, having fun with it, getting excited about playing football again and seeing what the new offense is going to look like. And I think, and that's the part. Look, I talk about the defense a lot just because they have such an elite secondary, I think, going into this season, or at least an opportunity to be elite with all of those players that they brought in each of the last 2 years and the returning players that have come back. You've got some guys that are studs who are about to get paid, but you have all that length and all that speed. What I think is fascinating is, again, we talked about this yesterday going out there. What are they going to try to put in? What is it they're looking at? Are they going to try to be a much more physical offense, runs the ball, throws the ball for play action because of the added speed, going over the top, those kinds of things? Or are they going to kind of be a little bit of what they were with some nuance? I think it's going to be a much more physical downhill offense followed by deep shot after deep shot, which is, to me, an exciting way of playing football and utilizing the players that you brought in from Alabama and LSU and Indiana. And, you watch those, you look at the speed, it's insane. This will be a bruising team with excitable moments down the field.
Well, that's the question, I guess. I didn't ask this yesterday, the different types of speed. There are some guys who are long striders and some guys that you can tell that they're moving a mile a minute and some that it just looks very, very easy. I always go back to Carlos Beltran playing center field. It looked like he was going 70%. And yet if you did his times to first base or second base,
yeah, right,
he's as fast as anybody in baseball. So when you're watching Jalen Lucas versus Malik Benson versus, I don't know, like a Roy Dell or a Destin Hill, like they all can move. But how do they look compared to each other when they move?
Well, I think Roydell just looks like a complete back, right? He kind of just looks like, he's got the requisite speed necessary, and a guy that, obviously he's big enough and strong enough to break tackles at the line of scrimmage and run away from you if he gets a shot. I think everybody else kind of is interesting, right? Cam is one of those guys I told you that we were all pumped to see, and watching him yesterday, you just see a low center of gravity, gigantic thighs, big body that just kind of glides. It's that is going to be fun to watch him punish people. And then I think some of the other guys, you mentioned Lucas, he's a little guy shot out of a cannon, and just see his little feet go his feet, but he's moving. I mean, he ran away from people yesterday when he got daylight, but he's so small. It's hilarious.
And then Benson is a longer strider, I'm assuming. I mean, he's a rangy looking body type. This is so hard to talk about this stuff and not see the kids except on the film, because usually when we sit down in this setting, I'm like, oh, well, this guy, he reminds me of this player. Like I remember, when Rashad Green is the first of open availability, you're like, man, that guy gets faster out of his breaks. Like, I'm wondering who that's going to be. I feel like Destin Hill's got a chance when it comes to route running and polish, that he could be as explosive out of his breaks as anybody on the roster. I would assume Malik Benson has more to him than just being straight ahead speed, though, because you can't be a number one player at any level, even if it is JUCO and not Division I, without having some variety to what you bring to the table.
Well, and he's just funny when he talked about it yesterday, saying that, look, I came here because I wanted a quarterback with big arms, a big arm who could hit me at any point. Like, I want to be I want the whole field to be challenged, because I think I'm that kind of diversified receiver. I can do everything. So I needed somebody who could make all the throws. He was really open and honest. You guys can go watch that at warchant.com and Warchant TV. You'll see all those videos. He's incredibly mature, and he's calculating. He thinks about what he wants to say. So they got I think a lot of times when somebody is the JUCO player of the year, or their transfers in general, you kind of wonder, what kind of player are you getting? Are you getting a guy who was a malcontent at his previous spot? Are you getting a guy who is going to be needy? Is that why they left? Why did they leave? Are they, what was the reason that they didn't stick around anywhere? Or why didn't they, and I was surprised of all. I mean, we've had a chance now to talk to all these guys multiple times. They're all like refined businessmen. They're just, I don't know if that's the byproduct of the modern era of college football or what, but they're all really, really kind of contemplative. And you get the sense that they thought through a lot of different options. And the fact that they chose Florida State is further testament and feather in the cap of the program, because again, Mike said that, you can play, you can come here, but we're going to challenge you. And there's a certain way we do things, and we're really not going to waver on that. And maybe that's not for you. He says Florida State's not for everybody. I think that's true.
It speaks to the vetting process in the portal. They are very strict with how they view who is a candidate. Now, of course, you got to be athletically gifted to be in the pool in the first place. But I mean, it's a certain kind of player. You bring a certain kind of player here. I know that's a cliche that people roll their eyes at when they say that they're an ex fill in the blank man. He's a Michigan man. He's this, he's that, at different programs. But I mean, we're kind of looking at it, even when they didn't have proof with Florida State uniforms in terms of film. Like, Mike would have to go back to Memphis film to show this is what you can be in my offense. They found this type of player. They found this type of mature citizen that's going to come into the culture and improve it. Not just be there and not be a malcontent or be a borderline cancer that we can deal with because we're strong enough. No, they improve it. Jared Verse has made the program better. Malik Benson, I believe, is going to make this program better. And you could go down the line. Jermaine Johnson was out there with Jared yesterday watching Trey Benson throw a first pitch. Transfer. They're all out there. I mean, it's just wild.
Walked right past the three of those gentlemen at Hauser yesterday as I was coming down to talk to you and do the report post-practice. The three of them were in the bowels of the stadium walking to get a refreshment and then go back and finish watching the game. And it was hilarious. They said hello. I said hello. And as they were walking by, they were all talking about that first pitch and arguing with each other about if they got a second shot, who would have the better first pitch. It was hilarious. Just still competing. Still talking. Well, man, you had a lot more time to warm up. Your pitch wasn't any better than mine, is what I heard. Which was perfect, which is great. By the way, Pinch and Penny Pools and Spa has everything you need for pool maintenance: chemicals, cleaners, pumps, vacuums, nets, covers, you name it, they've got it. I would also note, and this is important, if you have an older hot tub, you've been looking to get rid of it, but it's cumbersome, you don't know what to do with it, you don't know how to get it out of there, if you will, and you've been putting off that upgrade because of it, listen, they'll come out and haul it away for you. That hassle is alleviated. Pinch a Penny has a solution. They'll come pick it up. They'll remove and haul it away. That beat-up hot tub is no more. Install the new one, and you get a credit for your old one towards the new one. Really, they make it quite easy. Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas, if you're ready to relax, they're ready to show you how. Go see our friends at Pinch A Penny. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Attention Florida, are you a victim of an auto accident? We introduce our live chat sponsor, Hyson Leaka Law Firm, dedicated to representing injured clients statewide. If you've been in an accident, call Hyson Leaka Law Firm at 813-803-0733 for a free consultation. Remember, there's no cost to you unless they win. Your interests come first with Hyson Leaka Law Firm, the name you can trust for justice. Call 813-803-0733 now or visit HysonLeakaLawFirm.com. Hyson Leaka Law Firm, your advocate in times of need.
Political analysts said voting in Tuesday's election in Florida meant a lot. Tuesday can serve as a test run for the presidential election later this year. The results are very important to party leaders. They will help give party candidates and leaders a sense on where to focus their campaigns for the rest of the year. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Bright sunshine this afternoon with a high of 73. Winds out the west around 5 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 47 tonight, mainly clear skies. Daytime highs approaching 78 tomorrow. A mix of clouds and sun. Turning cooler Friday and Saturday with highs from the upper 60s to the low 70s. Thunderstorms both days. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 71.
Have you been injured on I-10? I'm Dana Brooks of Facing Brooks Law Offices. We partnered with RoadProof to access all interstate traffic camera footage along I-10 from Pensacola to Jacksonville. Memories fade and witnesses disappear. Securing important video footage now can make sure your claim receives the full attention it deserves. Call us today and let us secure the proof you need to come back stronger. Facing Brooks, 840-7777. Offices Destin, Tallahassee, and Jacksonville.
So everybody knows, Eddie, that you are a spectacular cook. Of course they know that. If they go into Bumpa's, the food is always good. I mean, everything on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
Everything at Gordo's is delicious. I always, of course, get the bungalow chungla, as I call it.
The bungalow chung, Jeff?
Is that what is the pork?
The bungalow chung, Jeff.
Okay, the bungalow chungla. It's delicious. All these things, all the items, everything you do, a master cook. But, sir, I would ask you, what is a skill that you possess that you're particularly proud of that nobody would know and that you could share with us here?
Growing hair, Jeff. Growing hair.
You're an asshole. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown.
That's pretty crazy. I think you know the work I've done. I'm not going to do a thing. Why are we here? Well, there are other guys that need to do the work. I'm not going to do it. Marvin Harrison Jr. not working out at Ohio State's Pro Day today. Come on in, guys. Let's do tea. Ask me anything you want. I'm not going to run. I'm not going to jump. Not going to catch. Not going to do a damn thing. And it's not going to affect my status whatsoever. That's how damn good I am. Must be nice. Very few people would be able to say that they could do that, but he could. That's more national news. But that wasn't the story of the day. The story of the day to me is what you heard from Kirk Ferentz. He put it a little bit more mildly than I would have, calling the Caden Proctor saga, quote, unfortunate. in a statement released to ESPN. You think? See, this is the problem, Tom. This is where we all agree that, hey, transfers and money and all that to varying degrees, that all needed to get worked out and be in a better system in place. But you have a guy that is going to re-enter the NCAA transfer portal to re-enroll at Alabama after a very short stint at Iowa. And Kirk Ferentz says about that it's, quote, unfortunate, and we wish him well. I couldn't do it, but maybe you have to anymore because he could re-enroll again. It's whatever you want. The NCAA allows for multi-time transfers to play immediately the next year without securing a waiver, which, again, would be normally what would have happened. He can play at Alabama again this fall. He confirmed his plan to enter the NCAA transfer portal, which opens, by the way, on April the 16th, and I'll bring this back home in a second. But he played for Alabama as a true freshman, and he five-star guy, looked good, had a great game against Georgia. And, he had originally passed on Iowa, went to Alabama, then, went to Iowa afterwards after Nick Saban announced he was leaving. And now in the midst of all of it, he says coming up in April, he's going to move back to Alabama. Dude, can't have it. You can't. This is ridiculous.
I don't disagree with you. This is a problem. And I don't know that a solution is coming anytime soon.
No, because the NCAA is impotent.
You would need a reclassification. I mean, well, we know it's a house of cards that you have to build almost to get out of it. But I don't think there's going to be any material change to the portal policies for the next calendar year or two. Like, I think this is in the grand scheme of college football's history, it's going to be a short-term problem. But for right now, it's gross. It's killing all the coaches. It's killing everybody. It's craziness. It is absolute craziness.
Well, it's bad for the game. It's bad for the coaches. It's bad for fans. It's just bad. It's not a good thing.
Well, and it also expedites the bubble bursting when it comes to NIL collectives too, because what this does is it says that the bidding process, if you will, I know it's not supposed to be inducement, but we all know what it is.
No inducements, Tom.
It never ends. The bidding process never ends. So therefore, it just raises the stakes, and it's already an unsustainable model. So the question is, what happens first? Do you change the process by which a kid can transfer before it breaks, or is it going to break first? And we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I do think that collectives will protect themselves in a way that we haven't seen before. I think that you're going to get, I don't want to speak certainly on behalf of the Battle's Inn, but any collective in their right mind now, I mean, if you, let's say you, again, purely hypothetically, you got a kid coming out, 5-star kid, everybody wants him. He understands that that certain collectives have been able to secure a certain amount of money for whatever, autographs, appearances, restaurants, whatever it is, right? Charity stuff to represent them. And that's what wins him over, right? He sees more opportunities at one school than he does another. And so we all know what's going on, as you said, like we're big boy conversation. We know the deal's not supposed to be inducements, but okay, I can get more by doing these things at this school than I can another school. And then I go and at the end of that year, I want more. Or I'm going to go to that other school who I turned down just a year ago. And then you're stuck. And I think if every time you do this, you cave, you have no real chance to succeed long term. And I think your program is in limbo at that point, and you'll just be used. So you can't do that. But I also know this: if your collective isn't winning the player acquisition war, then your program is losing games, losing steam, and isn't a viable candidate for the good players that are out there who maybe wouldn't act this way. And so it's lose-lose. You're just screwed.
Yeah, I think one of the other difficult parts of this is, obviously a kid can walk at any time. The collectives aren't going to enforce their rights over a player's name, image, and likeness. It's a bad look. It also would tie them up in court, so there's really no leverage there. But the other reason that there's no leverage is because it cannot be an inducement, whatever, you can't have incentives in contracts. I know we get these questions all the time in the chat or on the boards about like, well, how about a bonus for 50 catches or 100 catches or a snap counter? You can't do that. You can't do that because that is legitimately pay for play. At that point, And it's so stupid because we all know it's an inducement. I think one of the ways out is to incentivize guys on contracts. But that is an era that we're not living in the
We're about to,
I think we're going to get there at some point, though.
When the separation happens, we're going to get there.
Yeah, merit-based payment. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, which also means, by the way, and then you be careful what you wish for. Now, if you're an elite player, this is true in all fields, you're going to be fine and taken care of. But, if that's how you want to be treated, then you can be cut. We'll get to that place too. Like, thanks for his 7 catches, Jerry. This ain't going to work out. You can take it on down the road.
This is always where I wanted to go. If you don't want the lump sum and you want the old deal, which was 10 years ago, all your meals are paid for, we give you room and board, tuition, you go to class, you get all these things done. That is a path that protects you through your undergraduate experience. And so you're going to get your degree. You have a certain amount of you have roster protection. You're going to be a part of the roster. If you want to just say, no, give me the money. Okay, no problem. We can facilitate that. We do have the money to make that happen. But if you suck, you're cut. There you go. Now, injuries will take care of you because you're a part of the roster. Injuries, you have insurance. If you get hurt, no problem. But if you're terrible or you're a malcontent, I can cut you for any reason at any time. I just wish we could get to that place where the kid chooses on signing day what path he wants to walk, that of a student athlete or that of a professional athlete who can be cut for performance. And that would help this matter, I think, a little bit quicker.
I also want to get to a place where we can, I don't know how it works, but multi-year deals. Look, if you come here, if we win the battle, not through inducements, if we win the battle, then it's a little bit like baseball used to be. It's like once you've signed, if you don't go pro, you're here for 3 years.
Yeah, we're protected as an institution. Yeah.
But there's nobody in place to execute that now, and it wouldn't hold up. And it hasn't held up.
And the other part of it is, you could look, if you want and you believe that as a true freshman, you're going to take off and you want to reset your own market, then sign a 1-year scholarship deal. Like we'll give you an option.
Bet on yourself.
And you could bet on yourself. And maybe you're terrible. And maybe we don't want to give you a scholarship next year. That's the risk that you're going to take. But if you sign a multi-year that gives you some security, then if you want to transfer out of here, you got to sit for 12 months. You can't just go take the next best deal. You got to wear it in some way too. I'm happy that the system is more equitable between coaches being able to leave whenever they want and players. But there's a middle ground here that I think it's going to probably take a year or two because there's no centralized leadership to help navigate it. We know what the answer is, just nobody's got the power to do it.
By the way, in the midst of all this, one thing I did not mention in regards to the Caden Proctor deal, he was the center of a potential tampering case with his transfer. Iowa was working to self-report a level 3 violation regarding impermissible contact with Proctor in early February. An assistant coach allegedly sent a text to Proctor while he was at Alabama after a bad game. He committed to Iowa. Proctor said the Hawkeyes hit him up while he struggled during SEC play, which is what led to the tampering allegations. My man, if I'm out here cheating my ass off for you, we don't need to roll me publicly. What are we doing? I'm getting you paid. I've got your back during a tough time. Don't do it. Kids are going to have to get much more mature a lot quicker. This is going to be like, we all know what's going on here. Dude, you cannot say when asked, how is it that you ended up going back to Iowa, who heavily recruited you, and you thought about it, but you decided Alabama, and then you end up going to Iowa, you transfer out after a great freshman year. The first thing you say is, well, Iowa was hitting me up after tough games. We got to explain the rules here, dude.
Yeah. Thing is, for him, there are no rules. There's no repercussions. Iowa gets in trouble. He doesn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no body that can say, oh, so you're engaging in the tampering? Well, you too are suspended, and you're suspended without pay. There's no such thing as suspended without pay. You're getting paid because it can't be an inducement. You're getting paid no matter what. It's backwards, man. I'm glad that it shifted, but we need to get this thing back down the middle.
Well, you got to get it in some sort of semblance of order here. It's bizarre and silly, and it doesn't work. And yeah, I mean, this is why I said earlier, it's hard to, unless you've got real stability within your program, and it's hard not to be sort of like, how excited should I get about recruiting? I care that a lot of elite players are coming to be here and go to camps and have Florida State on their mind. And you can hear Michael Langston talk about that tonight. That's important. I agree with that. I think it matters. But I don't go crazy over the idea. Let's say we get all of them. Every guy that's coming here that's a 5-star that is excited about, let's say every one of them says, yep, you know what? That's the place I'm going to go. Well, that's good for momentum. It's good. It's certainly a good, healthy look for your program as a desirable destination amongst the best players in the country. That's awesome. That all matters. As far as how excited I get about it, it's day to day, baby. Just like their commitment.
Correct. And even if they sign here, that doesn't really think about it.
That's
Even
my point.
The signing day itself doesn't mean much anymore because in theory, if they just decided to change their mind in January, they could enroll somewhere else. I know the signing is going to be the new commitment. What's the point? Let's just not even have a day. Let's see who shows up.
Yeah.
And let's stalk the admissions offices and see who shows up for orientation in the student union. And that's where we can report from is the student
We're just going to be standing at the student union while they're on their way to class. He went in the classroom.
Hey, kids like a good show. So here comes a limo. A limo's pulling into the student union. This is the new way to do it instead of picking hats.
Good work out of you, brother. I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Good work out of you, director. Thanks to everybody on the chat and driving around Tallahassee listening on 93.3. Be well. We'll talk to you, as I said, tomorrow. Peace.